Now let's talk about Greenland. It's the largest island in the world, located right next to Canada at the edge of the Arctic. Greenland is a semi-autonomous territory, but officially part of Denmark, and it is in the news again for one reason, because Donald Trump wants to buy it. And Trump is being egged on by his Republican Party. Yesterday, a Republican congressman introduced this bill. It is titled the Make Greenland Great Again Act. If it is passed, it will allow Donald Trump to directly enter negotiations to buy Greenland. Trump will probably be thrilled. He has been wanting to buy Greenland for years, since his first presidential term. This bill could help him get the ball rolling. But does he want to buy Greenland? Well, apparently, why does he want to buy Greenland? It is to protect the world, he says.
We need Greenland for national security purposes. I've been told that for a long time, long before I even ran. I mean, people have been talking about it for a long time. You have approximately 45,000 people there. People really don't even know if Denmark has any legal right to it. But if they do, they should give it up because we need it for national security. That's for the free world. I'm talking about protecting the free world.
Now, this may sound like a tall claim, but let's actually look at Greenland to see what he means. The island is huge. It's about a quarter of Brazil or 2/3 of India in size. It looks bigger on maps. They over-exaggerate the size of polar regions. Globes offer a more accurate picture, but either way, Greenland is massive. Next, look at where it is. Up in the North Atlantic, between North America and Europe. In fact, right between Washington and Moscow. Think of a direct flight from Moscow to DC flying over the Arctic. Greenland would lie on that flight path at about the halfway mark. This makes it strategically invaluable for defense. The US already has a military facility in Greenland. It's called the Pitufik Space Base. It's a base for the US Space Force. That's the case today. Before this, it was known as the Thule Air Base, and it has been around since 1943. So the US military knows Greenland well. They've been using it for decades, but Trump wants to expand this military footprint in Greenland, and that is a security argument. It's one reason why Trump wants to buy Greenland. The other reason is commercial. Greenland is home to just 57,000 people. It's more than what Trump had estimated, but pretty close. Think about all of that, about a landmass bigger than Mexico, with just 57,000 people. Think about all the mineral resources present. On a per-person basis, it's amazing. Greenlanders would be some of the most mineral-rich people on Earth. But the lack of manpower means that the minerals are untouched, just waiting to be exploited. That's probably what Trump feels anyway. So he wants to buy Greenland and set the US military and mining firms loose on the island. And his Republican colleagues want to help him do it. That is why they introduced the Make Greenland Great Again Act. The act will empower Trump to start working on a deal, that too by 12:01 p.m. on January 20th. Basically, immediately after his inauguration, he wants to begin. The act also puts the US Congress on the clock. They will have just 60 days to review any deal that Trump makes, to somehow come up with a joint resolution of disapproval. After the 60-day deadline, any Trump-Greenland deal will automatically be accepted. Now, this is a neat trick. It paves the way for a quick agreement. The US Democratic Party does not have the numbers to veto anything, so effectively, Trump can buy Greenland on whatever terms he chooses. Well, as long as Denmark and Greenland accept. And that's the real hurdle here. The US has tried to buy Greenland before, in 1867, in 1910, and as recently as 1946. Denmark rejected the idea all 3 times. It has sold other territory to the US. Most famously, it sold the Danish West Indies to the US in 1917. Today, they are known as the US Virgin Islands. Denmark sold them for $25 million back in 1917. That's about $600 million today. So Denmark has made deals with the US in the past, but things are quite different now. It isn't the age of colonialism anymore. Greenland has been granted autonomy and the right to self-determination. By law, the island is free to choose independence. They just need to hold a referendum. So for Denmark, Greenland is not theirs to sell.
And when it comes to the question of independence, I would like to reiterate that in our eyes it is a decision that starts and ends in Nuuk and in Greenland. Greenland belongs to the Greenlandic people and no one else.
As for the island itself, what does Greenland think? Take a look.
We don't want to be Danes. We don't want to be Americans. We want to be Greenlandic. And of course, it is the Greenlandic people who decide their future.
Greenland's Prime Minister is ready to talk to the US, even work together on mineral extraction and increase trade. But that's about it. It does not seem like Greenland is willing to become a US territory, no matter what Donald Trump says or what bills make their way through the US Congress.
From breaking news to the day's biggest controversies, shedding light on the world's top headlines, detailed analysis on the stories that matter the most to you. Catch it all on Spotlight at 6 p.m. India time and 12:30 GMT, only on Firstpost.